Hello, welcome to another episode of Montana Shares, your opportunity to find out about the nonprofits that make our state great. I'm your host, Bill Crane, and today I have Kris and Doug from Bike Walk Montana. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bill.
So let's start high view, as always. What's Bike Walk Montana all about?
Well, we were formed in 2012, and we are an advocate for transportation for walkers and bicyclers. In other words, there's groups like AAA that advocate for drivers and folks that support the highway system. We support the trails, the shared use paths, and the sidewalks, the way that people move around our community without their vehicles. And actually, over 30% of Montanans don't have driver's license, so that's a pretty good chunk of people.
That is pretty amazing, actually. Yeah. Does that include the kids?
That includes kids.
Okay,
that includes,
that makes more sense that way.
That's right, that's right. And they're pretty important. We really worry about getting kids to school safely, and we have a number of things we're working on to make that happen, as well as for just people that need to get to either work, get to the store, visit friends, or just to travel around for fun or recreation like everyone else does. Mm-hmm. We've been around since 2012, and we had a original executive director, Melinda Barnes, who I know has been on the show a couple times, and she left in October, so I started on October 1st, so I've been on about half a year, and came from state parks, where I had a career for about 35 years, and so it's a transition time for Bike Walk Montana. It's well established. We have close to 600 members across the state. We're a statewide organization. I should have mentioned that. And we're trying to set up so that we're going to be sustainable on into the future. And we were one of the last states to have a bike and walking advocate group, but we're trying to catch up and move ahead. Montana's got a lot of things going in communities, and we just want to do everything we can to advance those.
Okay. And speaking of new, Kris,
Yeah.
You're also new.
Well, I'm not only new to Bike Walk Montana, but I'm also new to Montana.
Okay.
I just moved here in July, and I started with Bike Walk Montana in the middle of March. So I know I have a lot to learn, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Great. So we're coming out of probably the most challenging time for bikers, walkers, with winter and a really pretty massive snow winter, but we're going to be out and about now as bikers and as walkers. And what's going on what's new, I guess?
Yeah, what's new? Well, again, we work in a number of different areas. We're primary advocates for non-motorized transportation. We also have education program, and we're very excited. We've just applied for some funding to expand our education program, because we feel with education, if you can teach kids in particular about bicycles, about how to use them, how to drive around them, and also how to move walking, where do you cross the street and that sort of thing. We feel we can create lifelong people that will spend their whole life moving around bikes or walking. And our third area is outreach. We outreach for both these things, as well as legislation. And we just finished working with the legislature, and actually it was relatively successful. We had a few bills that didn't pass, but overall I think it was a good session, and we have some things to look forward to for the next session, as well as to work on interim. Like I said, we also do outreach for, again, our three main areas are advocacy, education, and legislation. And with legislation starting to calm down a little bit, we'll be focusing on the other two. We often have had a commuter challenge. We are not going to have one of those this spring, but we are going to make our software available to anyone who wants to go online and do that. Some people maybe remember that, and we're going to be working with other communities that have systems already in place to make that happen, and we're going to try and expand that. Those systems help you track your miles, track how much carbon you save, and you can compare yourselves with your neighbors and see how you're doing, seeing who's making the most trips to work. So what's new? For our outreach, which is really the fun part, you're absolutely right. This is bike walk season. It's been kind of a long, hard winter for a lot of people.
It's kind of a slow spring, too.
Yeah. We hope it's over
sometime.
But that's a hard time, and transportation systems should accommodate all forms of weather conditions, time of year, time of day, and they just can't always in particularly a place like Montana. But thank goodness we have great folks that try to keep the streets clean, and also citizens that shovel their walks and do that sort of thing. Because that, what people don't realize is the sidewalks are really, for a lot of people, that's their transportation system. They aren't on the, we don't want them in the streets. And so everyone taking care of their own sidewalk, and particularly in winter, is really important.
Let's just go a little deeper on that. Pet peeve time, maybe. A lot of times there's a place that's vacant, and I think the property owner needs to know that that is, like you say, it is the way that these people move around. I noticed this winter there are several places that are vacant, old storefronts or something like that. Didn't touch their sidewalks for the whole winter.
Yeah. Well, for in Helena, for both businesses and residential, you can report that to the city, and they'll make an effort to contact the owner. If the owner's out of town or absentee, that's pretty hard. So that's the issue there, is if people are out of town. But there is a system in Helena for you to report that, and they do follow up on that. The best thing is citizen action. If you have a neighbor or a business near you that doesn't seem to be clearing their sidewalks, grab a couple friends and go out there and clear that baby off, because there's going to be someone that's going to be very appreciative of that. So we always are trying to push more of the work, more of the advocacy, more of the work, I guess, to the local folks, because you know the streets, you know where the problems are, you know where you know what the issues have been in the past, you know the history, and a big part of our outreach is to try to encourage people to get involved in their local communities, interact with their government officials, interact with other organizations, be aware of other organizations, and try to make connections. When it comes down to a Bike Walk Montana, like a lot of our nonprofits, we're trying to connect communities, we're trying to do community organization, and encouragement in our communities for people to be involved. We all have to move around. We all are walkers at some point, even if you're just walking from your car to the front door of the store. Once you get out of your car, you're a pedestrian, and there's really good up-to-date design for things like islands and sidewalks and ramps and that are cutting edge, and the engineering community is really stepping up with great ideas and options for people to do now. Those are often quite expensive, and so like right now in Helena, with the plan, they're updating the long-range plan. That's a really important thing for people to make comment on, that they want the sidewalks to be, expand the sidewalk system, expand the bike trails, expand the shared use paths, and make sure that's a part of our future here in Helena. We've got a lot of people that travel by bikes. I moved from Billings, and I see a lot more folks on bicycles here, as well as people walking. And it's a great community for that. It could be better.
So this will go out statewide on Facebook and whatnot, but a lot of the people that watch it on cable will be in Helena. What do you have going on in Helena?
Yeah, a couple things. We have on May 10th, which is coming right up, we are going to have a gathering here in Helena, 10 to 4. And that's going to be called our Advocates and Affiliates Rendezvous. On odd or uneven years, we have our Bike Walk Summit. That's a statewide gathering of up to a couple hundred people. And we wanted to do something in the odd years, in the 2019 years. And so we're going to try this out. We're expecting 30 to 40 people there. It's going to be more of a kind of a roundtable discussion. Everyone will be invited to share what's going on in their communities. We're going to have a good lunch together. We have some decision makers and policy makers that will be there, and we're just calling them content participants, because they don't necessarily have to present. We just want people to understand that the people making these decisions are in their communities. They're easy to approach. They're good people. They're working hard. They're service oriented, and they should interact with them regularly. And so we're going to provide that on May 10th. We're also part of a series of events across Montana. We're calling it our Advocacy Event Series, and 2 right here in Helena and they're actually kind of back to back, so you can get a lot of biking and walking in. On the 17th is our Aylesford Trails here, and we're going to be having a table there and talking to people about what we do and how they can get involved. And then on the 18th, downtown again, we'll be at the Roll and Stroll, and we're going to have a bike rodeo there. We're going to have shops with bikes to try out. You can try out the new e-bikes. You may have heard of those. They're quite the the up and coming trend. There'll be some folks displaying things, and for kids that come and go through the bike rodeo, we'll have a free helmet for them if they don't have one, because we want kids to have helmets on. It should be like seat belts. It should just be second nature to put that helmet on.
Right. What are those dates again?
That is on May 17th. Will be the Ales for Trails, and I think that starts about 5 or so in the evening. That's at Pioneer Park, I believe. And then on the 18th, on that Saturday, it'll be down right near the farmer's market, so you can do the farmer's market. Come to the roll and stroll, walk on up into town. There'll be, I think the Shriners are having a parade. It's going to be a heck of a weekend in downtown Helena. And we're working with a lot of partners on both those events. And I want to talk a little bit about membership. Kris is our membership person as well. She has an impressive title, and she's doing an impressive job. But Kris, maybe tell them a little bit about the type of members we have.
Sure. There's lots of opportunities to be involved, whether you're an individual and want to become a member and help strengthen our voice and participate in events and activities. It's reasonably priced. It's as simple as going to our website and reading the information and clicking the Donate Now button, or go to our Facebook. We have lots of information there. We also have affiliate members who are organizations in other communities that have bike clubs or what have you. And then also we love to have support from our business community. And we'll work with you, try to make it as easy as possible to be involved, and just give us a call if you have questions.
Okay, super.
Yeah, we're at bikewalkmontana.org, and something Kris is really great at is updating our website. That's a full-time job for somebody. And I also have a very good computer consultant in our office named Bill Crane next door to us. And that's another great thing, is we share our office with Montana Shares, and we're thankful for that all the time, both just the professional and this personal support. We are at 910 East Lyndale. We're right by the ball field and just off the Centennial Trail. So you can even park at our office, come in, say hi, and go out and either bike or walk the Centennial Trail, which several of us take advantage of.
It's an asset. I clock it on my watch. It's 1.6 miles to get on the trail, walk around Centennial Park, and go back to work. Half an hour. That's probably the best half an hour of the day.
I would guess, yeah. And we're actually, another thing, very significant thing we're doing is we're Bike Walk Helena is what kind of led to Bike Walk Montana. And we are working with a local group of advocates and people that are interested, a small group right now, but we're going to expand it to get Bike Walk Helena back up and running, and so that we have an organization right here in town that will supplement other groups. I mean, we never want to take over any other group's role or activities. We're just kind of the hub that connects various parts of our community together. And Bike Walk Helena will be a really force. We have some great people. It came out of the Friends of the Centennial Trail, so Centennial Trail will be one area of focus. There's multiple MDT projects, Montana Department of Transportation, as well as city projects around. We have our local events, which there's a whole number of those, and we're hopeful that a lot of Helena folks, and when we say Bike Walk Helena, we include Townsend, we include Clancy, and even all the way down to Boulder, where they have a bike camp that we want people to connect to. You travel not just within your community, but you travel across communities. And we try to take that same approach in terms of how we're organized, both with our individual members, our affiliates, and also chapters we have. We have 3 chapters across the state. We hope to have more of those as well, and that's much more of a close connection. And as well as people that aren't necessarily members or directly affiliated with it. There's a huge number of people out there that we feel we want to work with, and that we want to hear their voice, and we want to strengthen their voice.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming on the show today, and welcome both of you to Helena. And thanks for the work that you do making the streets safer, primarily for the people, those 30% that are out there, they're walking and biking, and a lot of them are our kids.
Yeah.
Appreciate the work you do. Appreciate you guys who tune in all the time. Have a wonderful evening.